up and I went, here it goes. And they won the game 9-5. So all I'm really trying to tell everybody, a night like last night, and the Red Sox have now done this a couple of times in the last two games where they have fallen behind, they scratch, they fight their way back, they end up winning the game. And last night they didn't fall behind, but they blew a lead. And so I always take those as bad signs. Good teams in baseball take the lead, hold the lead, bury the opposition. That's what they do. They control the game from the get-go. And look, you have to win in different ways. I'm not telling you every game is like that, but I feel like the Red Sox are vulnerable, and they are. But it's hard to measure the heartbeat of the team unless you watch them on a regular basis, and this team has a strong heartbeat. They really do. A night like last night should give you a little tingle in your trousers. Just a little tingle to make you think, you know what? This team's going to hang around. They can fight. Alex Cora called it sustainable. It was his 500th career win with the Red Sox, did you know? 500 career wins with the Red Sox. Pretty good. I think just as interesting was the exchange Cora had with his players in the clubhouse after the game. I saw this on Twitter. I don't know who else has played it, where else it's been seen, but for those of you who aren't on social media, I thought it's a worthy listen. Jimmy Stewart, our producer, pulled the audio. Jimmy, you said the audio is good enough for people to hear, right?
Yeah, the first half might be a little spotty, but the second half is definitely good.
Okay, so bear with me a little bit because I do think, and I said this yesterday in the wake of the trading deadline, I do think there is a difference between the Red Sox of this year and the last couple of years. And it's not just the talent and development of the young players. That's not the only thing. The other thing is the attitude, starting with their manager. So again, Cora, last night, got his 500th win. Addressed the team in the aftermath. And let me just say up front as well that I'm sure this might have been staged for the Netflix documentary.
Everything this year has been staged for the Netflix documentary.
So I don't rule that out either. This could be entirely staged. But this was the exchange Cora had in the clubhouse with his players.
I knew this one was coming. I knew it. It's been fun the whole year. And obviously, me and my family, we made a big commitment a few weeks ago. And yeah, the reason is them first. But what you guys bring to the equation on a daily basis to my life is amazing. I love it. Rafi, you've been in all of them, 500 of them. Thank you. Now that we have added the last week, you guys have been amazing with us. You know, this is a great organization. I love what I do, and I have the passion. You know, I was anxious today, winning the game one in Tampa when we won. Up to this day, I get anxious because of you guys, because I live with you guys. You know, every pitch will be a bat. I hope you guys feel that I fight every pitch with you guys, and we got a big shot to win this thing. And it's because of you. You guys are very talented, and I think we do the right thing. You guys are the right way. You guys are humble and hungry. So let's keep going.
Okay, now again, so some of that was hard to pick up. Hopefully you could all hear it. But Cora, the essence of it to me is at the end. Remember, Cora still has a young team. That much has not changed from a year ago. He has a young team. These players still make mistakes. Jarren Duran overthrew a cutoff man with an 8-3 lead last night, gave up another run effectively in the process. Okay, the guy who hit the ball advanced from first to second. It was a sloppy, stupid mistake. There was no reason to open up the door and give the Royals a chance at another run there, and Jarren Duran did it. So they still make mistakes. That used to drive Cora crazy. And again, if you were able to pick up that little speech to his players, Cora in the clubhouse, sitting there saying to the players, I live and die every effing pitch with you guys. We have a shot at this thing. We're going to fight it until the end. That was the essence of Cora's comment. Do I need to remind you what Cora sounded like last year or even the year before as the manager of the Red Sox? And we trimmed some of these a little bit, but I trimmed one in particular. Jimmy, the first one on Pablo Reyes at the top. What did he say then?
I don't see Pablo as an everyday player.
Okay, they had picked up Pablo Reyes to play shortstop. Remember that comment? I don't see Pablo as an everyday player.
I don't see Pablo as an everyday player.
I mean, that was an indictment on Chaim Bloom. Like, this is what you got me? This is what you got me. And then, Kevin Majori, did we end up finding that comment about the roster as the roster?
Yeah, we have a shorter minute version.
Okay, so, Jimmy, let's actually play the longer version because this runs a bit, but I want people to hear what Cora's tone sound like. We may stop and start it at various points in it and even skip ahead a little bit. But, Jimmy, start it from the beginning.
Stand by.
No problem. A little technical difficulty. But Cora was frustrated with the team's play. This was about 2 months into the season, I think. They'd played about 60 games to that stage. And Cora was frustrated, reasonably or understandably so.
Alex, how much do you kind of trust some inexperienced guys playing some positions?
No. That's not it. That's not it. You know, in this game, you got to be locked in every play. You know, it happened early in the game, right? Fly ball to center field. Man's in the corner. We threw to the plate. We have no chance at the plate. The guy advanced, and before the play, you have to put everything in perspective. You got to see it, you know, and what's worth it and what's not, you know, and then the odds of getting a guy out against, you know, the next play in the game, right?
Can we stop right there? Jimmy, let's jump ahead about a minute, too. And let me just say that the general essence of that comment at the beginning is we're stupid. We're stupid. You got to think this stuff out ahead of time because he's asked about the youth on the team, and he says, oh, no. This isn't a young thing. This is a stupid thing. We're playing dumb. We played a lot of this stuff for you last year. You might have forgot what he sounds like. But again, listen to the tone of Cora's voice. Just listen to the tone of his voice. Jimmy, just pick it up anywhere about a minute later.
The difference between them and us right now, base running defense and throwing strikes. That was the game today. And we saw it, you know, although they walked 6. So, but it's something that we got to keep pushing these guys to be better, you know. Right now, we're one game over 500, who we are, you know, like, and, you know, tomorrow's getting 60, and you know, we're in the middle, not in the middle of the season, but you know what I mean, like, the season is going now, and everybody's picking it up, and we have to pick it up. And we can talk about winning series and all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. You know, this division is not easy. And we've been, for stretches, we've been good. For stretches, we've been bad. And in other ones, we've been okay. And I think at the end, we just got to be better.
Okay, he sounds exasperated. Cora sounded exasperated a year ago. That was a year ago. He sounded like a guy who did not want to manage the Red Sox anymore, who'd pretty much had it with the whole operation. He sounded like, this is ridiculous. I want out of here. Now, in retrospect, I don't know. I wonder if he had gone to them about a contract extension. They said no. Then they fired Chaim Bloom, and they said, we're going to wait. We're going to let Breslow make the call. Maybe there are other things going on there. Maybe he was just pissed that he was stuck in this and being exploited for having been busted in that cheating scandal, because I felt like there was a point there where Cora had paid his debt and the team was still sort of squeezing every drop out of him. And I think Cora felt that way. I don't know that. I'm just telling you how it feels from the outside. I'm sure you felt the same thing. But the attitude was poor. It downright sucked. And at the trade deadline, the last 3 years, going back to the year with Kyle Schwarber in 2021, the Red Sox kind of went belly up. This year after the deadline, Jimmy, correct me if I'm wrong, aren't they like 5-2 now after the deadline?
Sounds right.
Okay, 5-2 after the deadline this year. Complete difference from what it's been the last couple of years. When they lost, 6 out of 8, 8 out of 10, whatever it was, you get the idea. They slumped at the deadline the last 3 years. This year, all of a sudden, they're going 5-2. Almost as if the attitude itself, just the attitude, has made a difference and kept them in contention. Because when you really look at it, how much different is this team really than what it's been the last few years? Some of the younger guys are older, more experienced. Rafaela still makes mistakes. Jaron Durant still made one last night. He's an all-star now, but he still made a mistake last night. They do have what I would call nomads at an assorted number of positions. Dominic Smith, I'm sorry, nomadic first baseman. He is. Better than what Chaim Bloom might have gotten because he actually plays first base instead of left field. And they don't have Christian Arroyo in right field and that kind of crap. Some of the guys they picked up at the deadline, the guy who pitched last night, and I want to get to some analysis on some of these guys too, give you my thoughts on what I thought. Luis Garcia is the guy they got from the Angels, Jimmy, who pitched last night in the 8th inning. He's Hansel Robles, if you ask me. Same kind of stuff. Robles had good stuff. He got hit, but the stuff was pretty good. This guy last night, not that different. But their attitude's better. And if you're not enjoying this right now, okay, it's August 6th. They're tied in the loss column for the wild card spot, the last one. They are playing the team they're tied with. They scored 9 runs last night. They've beaten Kansas City 3 out of 4. It's a team that really is worth watching and is a likable team for the way they play. Not the way they execute. They still make mistakes. A lot of them. I'm not sure they can really pitch. But they fight. The manager's engaged. He's invested. The players are engaged and invested, and it's making a difference. We'll give you some of the particulars when we come back. I want to get to, let me see here. What did I put one guy in particular last night. I thought the key at bat of the game came in the 6th inning. We'll tell you what happened there. And also, I forgot to mention Trivia Tuesday a little bit later in the show. We'll get to that as well, all in the baseball hour tonight.
Durant things. Facing a nasty lefty, sitting 97, 98 with sink. Gets into an advantage count because he worked it. He uses his eyes to know the strike zone, gets a sinker up in the zone, and just smokes a bullet to left. 2 RBI double in a massive spot for the Boston Red Sox.
That was the game last night, if you ask me. I thought that was the biggest moment of the game. Jarren Duran comes up with 2 outs in a 2-2 game. I believe that was in the top of the 6th inning. Hit a double down the left field line with 2 outs against a left-handed pitcher. 2 runs scored. The Red Sox go ahead 4-2. They blow it open after that. They go up 8-2. They win the game 9-5. But that was the moment. That was the moment. And I'll tell you why. Because the Red Sox had a 2-0 lead in the game last night. Kansas City got back into it with 2 single runs to tie it at 2-2. And I thought, okay, here it goes. This is where Paxton loses it. This is where they give the game up. Because, again, I just don't have a lot of faith in the pitching staff at this stage. It feels like they've been beaten up, deteriorated. They brought in some new guys, and I thought this thing's going to go the other way. I just thought the ebb and flow, Red Sox and Kansas City aren't that even. It's going to come back. And Kansas City's going to beat them, and they're going to start to slide out of this race. The opposite happened. And I'm glad I was wrong. Jarren Duran with a big hit, and that whole rally started with a 2-out hit, and then Rafaela with a runner moving. I'm trying to remember who was on base before Rafaela, but the runner was moving on the pitch, and Rafaela basically blooped a hit into left center field. Jimmy, do you remember who the base runner was when Rafaela got the hit in the 6th inning?
Yeah, it was Nick Sogard.
Okay, Sogard is on the move. Rafaela bloops a ball into left center field. And you know what popped into my head at that moment? Saying, put the ball in play. Put the ball in play. It was a bloop hit. So is the line between winning and losing that fine for this Red Sox team? The answer is yes. But sometimes you can make up that difference. The difference between winning and losing, you can make it up on the margins. So last night, Rafaela just gets the ball in play. And then the Royals try to throw the runner out at third because Sogard's on his way to third, and Rafaela takes second. So now you have 2 guys in scoring position, and Duran with 2 outs after what should have been an inning-ending, or could have been an inning-ending pop-up. It's not like someone missed the blooper. It was just well-placed. Duran, slaps a double down the left field line. There you go, 4-2, game on. All because what? Rafaela made contact and hustled. It wasn't about exit velocity. It wasn't about left-right matchup, although that was part of it. None of that. The whole thing was about just giving yourself a chance. Put the ball in play. Pay attention. They throw to the wrong base. You get an extra 90 feet. Turned out to be another run. Now, Duran gave back the 90 feet later, I told you. When it was 8-3 at that time, or 8-2, the Royals got a hit to make it 8-3. Duran threw to the plate, foolishly, overthrew the cutoff man, runner advanced to second, he ended up scoring. So now you're 8-4, and the Red Sox had to work out of a jam later in the game, which, again, I will get to in the 7th, because a couple of new relievers got in there as well. But really, the way the Red Sox won that game last night, and they're hitting, I don't mean to minimize, what did they have, 18 hits last night? I don't want to minimize that. So they're scoring. But James Paxton gave him 6. A couple of the new relievers showed up. Duran and Rafaela are still playing hard, giving it everything they've got. And it's going to take max effort because we all know they're not super talented, but they're competing. And that really is something that you should take interest in. You're in August here, and the games count. You're playing what amounts to playoff games. And by the way, those of you who say you should have sold at the deadline, Jarren Duran in a big spot in what amounts to an August playoff game. Okay, and it's not totally the same. I understand the intensity ramps up. But Jarren Duran got up in a big spot there and came through. Where else and how else is he going to get that for the future? So put them through these games, see how they do. Let's see what it looks like a year from now. Okay, I understand all that. In the interim, you do have a playoff spot to win, maybe real playoff games to play in October. Nobody knows how that's going to go. Take a shot. I felt this way at the deadline. This is why I wanted to add. They did add less than I would have liked, but nonetheless, they did a little bit more than they've done in the past. So, dig in. Pay attention. You don't have to watch every pitch of every game, but have it on in the background. Keep your eye on the team. Check the box scores. Do all the normal stuff you would do in a playoff race, because that's what this is. Martin in Texas. Martin, what do you got?
Hey, Tony. I think that the offense is doing a lot to keep them in it right now, but guys like Tanner Houck and Brian Bale's been better of late, but him and Cutter Crawford have to figure it out because the offense can't keep scoring 6 or 8 runs every single night for the rest of the season. It's just not fathomably possible or anything like that. They kind of just got to button down and suck up the whole career high in innings thing because I'm not a huge believer in that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so look, Martin, I'm worried about the pitching staff too. And I'm not telling you that each of those guys doesn't have some ability or some talent. They've pitched a little over their heads for the start of the year. I do wonder whether Corey Bailey's philosophy can continue to work, although it seemed to work for James Paxton last night.
Andrew Bailey.
What did I
You
say?
said Corey Bailey.
Oh, God. Who's Corey Bailey?
He used to be a Red Sox pitcher. He was a reliever out of the bullpen somewhere in the 90s.
Oh, God, that's going way back. Wow, Andrew Bailey was the closer at one time. I know the difference. I don't know why.
2013, he got hurt. He was the first closer.
You know, Jimmy, when I said it, it didn't sound right.
Yeah, Corey Bailey pitched for the Red Sox
kidding.
somewhere in the 90s.
It did not sound right. Corey Bailey kind of sucked, I think. Andrew Bailey was actually pretty good for a little while. But Andrew Bailey's pitching philosophy, I think, is catching up with him a little bit. I think the ball is jacked. Again, evidence of that coming later. But you know what? The Royals aren't that good either. So
they're better than you, and they spent money in the offseason on players that you wanted, like Lugo and Michael Wacha, to name a few.
So, Jimmy, you know what? I don't know if they are.
And that pisses me off because you should be able to outspend the Royals and be better than the Royals.
Yeah, and it's a fair complaint. I'm just telling you that the Red Sox, I think, are competitively as good as the Royals are. Talent-wise, maybe not. But as we looked up today, the Royals are 12-1 against the White Sox. You take that out, they're a 500 team. So again, I can look at the roster and say there's talent there. But the truth is that the play on the field has been akin to what the Red Sox have done. In fact, you could argue that it's worse because the Red Sox have beaten better competition. The Red Sox can beat the Royals out in the race. And they can beat out some of these other teams in the race. The Minnesota Twins, by the way, who are ahead of the Royals in the standings, but also in the wild card, also 12-1 against the White Sox, who are historically bad. They have a chance. The Red Sox have a chance. Against all odds, they do. And again, some of these guys are playing their asses off. Mistakes be damned. They are making mistakes, like still not quite as bad as they were early in the year, but they still make mistakes. And they fight their way out of them. So I hope it can sustain itself because if they are to play meaningful games in September, a month from now, with a playoff spot really on the line, I think people will watch. I hope they stay. I mean, early regular season baseball is tough. Where did I put that? Where did I put it, Jimmy? Where did I put it? Trivia Tuesday. We're going to do that next. So first two callers right now on the contest line, which is 617-931-0985. That's the contest line. You can participate in Trivia Tuesdays presented by Gulf. The winner will score a $50 Gulf gas card. And again, same format every week. We'll ask one person one question. If they get it right, they win. If not, we go to caller number 2. We will take a maximum of 4 callers. 617-931-0985. Trivia Tuesdays presented by Gulf. You can download the Gulf Pay mobile app for everyday savings. Gulf, it all starts here. We'll do that next. Still going to get to a lot on the game last night, though, so don't go anywhere.
is where your baseball knowledge can lead to fabulous prizes. And now, here's your host, Tony Mazzarati.
All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to start it out tonight with Mike in New Hampshire. He's contestant number 1. Contestant number 2 is Mark in New Hampshire. But we'll only get to Mark if Mike gets his question wrong. Then we'll ask Mark the question, a different question, because I don't want you fidgeting on your phones or being able to get the answer while you're waiting on hold. I'll give you a different question. If you can answer it, you win. We stop there. We'll go up to a maximum of 4 callers. We'll stop at 4 unless if we have no winner, too bad. I would like to get a winner. I'm looking to give away these Gulf gas cards every week. That's the plan. Again, Trivia Tuesday presented by Gulf. Download the Gulf Pay mobile app for everyday savings. Gulf, it all starts here. So again, and just for those of you who may serve as backup callers, the contest line 617-931-0985. Okay, we'll start again with Mike in New Hampshire, who's contestant number 1. Oops, hit the wrong button. Jimmy, can you punch him up? Mike, you there?
I'm here. Hey, Tony.
Okay, here we go. You ready for the question?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Okay, question number 1. Masataka Yoshida last night went 4 for 5. He is now batting .339 in his last 17 games. Spell Masataka.
Let's see here. Masataka.
Correct. You got it right, Jimmy. We can keep him on hold. All right, there you go. Stay on the line. Mike. Don't go anywhere. They'll get your info back there. Mark in New Hampshire, I'm sorry, we have a winner, so we're not even going to get to you tonight. Again, Trivia Tuesday presented by Gulf. Download the Gulf Pay mobile app for everyday savings. Gulf, it all starts here. Jimmy, you think he had enough time to just punch up the name and look it up?
No.
I do.
Oh.
I do. I think he probably, well, I guess, I suppose he was talking.
I mean, based on my clock, he started spelling it at the 3-second marker.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. So, I mean, if he's that quick where he can type it out in 3 seconds, then yeah.
I mean, I would hope that he could get the first letter right if it's Mazz. So if he started at 3 seconds, the M shouldn't be that tough. Now, again, what happens after that? That was kind of an easy question. I was kind of hoping for a comedic element there, that he would butcher the name, but unfortunately he got it right. Nonetheless, we accomplished our objective, which is to give away the Gulf gas card. We'll do it again next week. In the interim, we'll get back to the phones. I do want to get to a couple of other things this segment. But first, we'll take Will in Shrewsbury. Will, what do you got? Oh, Jimmy, why can't I punch him up? Am I just dead here, or what's going on?
I believe he was being screened.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so Will's on line 1, so Will's being screened. And when Will is ready, we'll punch him up. That's my bad. What I did want to get to from last night's game, Jimmy, there was a great defensive play. Do we have that in the system? Can we play that highlight? It was, again, one of the key plays of the game.
This is driven in the air to center field. Rafaela darts back on the move at the wall. Oh, man! St. Don did it!
Wow. Even the Kansas City Royals fans here on their feet, clapping for the kid. Watch the route, almost overruns it to left, corrects himself. Not just a normal jump, watch his body spin to take the impact on the shoulder instead of his face. What a play.
Okay, that was in the 5th inning. Again, at the time, a 2-2 score. That was the inning before Duran hit the double down the left field line to turn it into a 4-2 game. Every play matters. Every play matters. So people complain about the baseball season being too long, which it is. The games, the plays don't mean anything because the game's about the bigger picture. It's a marathon, not a sprint. True. But now you get into August, post-deadline, your last head-to-head meeting with the team you are competing with for a playoff spot. Every game matters. Every pitch matters. This is when baseball starts to get good. This is when you have the meaningful games with the meaningful pitches, the meaningful at-bats, and the significant catches, all that stuff, it matters now. Jimmy, let me ask you a question. The Ceddanne Rafaela catch last night, if you saw it, was it a great catch?
I did see it, and I thought it was an overrated catch.
Okay. So I think it was a little overrated, and I'll tell you why. A little. I thought it was a very good catch. He kind of created the problem for the catch on his own.
He did.
Now, the ball over your head, directly over your head, any outfielder will tell you it's the hardest play. The ones to the right, the ones to the left, the ones that you go straight in on, those you can see pretty much the entire time you're running. The one over your head is much trickier. And in this particular case, I thought Rafaela kind of twisted himself up a little bit and got himself in a position where if you haven't seen the catch, he almost has to kind of backhand it awkwardly.
He just threw his arm at the baseball and hoped.
Okay,
That's now a great catch.
So usually when a guy makes that play, the glove's up above his head, he's running back, and in this case, Rafaela kind of turned the glove over, almost like a backhanded basket catch, sort of. The glove, the pocket of the glove was pointed upward while he was running back, except it wasn't over the shoulder; it was out to his side. Again, Google it, you'll find it. So he didn't put himself in the best position to make the catch.
Middlebrooks even said on the call he overran the baseball. This is Will Middlebrooks who's criticizing it.
Correct. But it's a play that a lot of guys don't even come close to. And frankly, he still had the hand-eye, despite being slightly out of position for it. And again, I'm not saying, he made some sort of major judgment. It's a really hard play to run back like that. He still had the hand-eye to make the catch. So that was a big play in that game. And Rafael, again, factored into the game-winning rally the next inning, put a ball in play, took an extra base. And some of the players the Red Sox picked up at the deadline, James Paxton, 6 innings last night. And 2 of the relievers the Red Sox picked up at the deadline, Lucas Sims and Luis Garcia, both pitched in that game. Sims got a big out in the bottom of might have been the 7th by that point, where he faced Bobby Witt Jr. There was at least one man on, it might have been 2 on base, and got him to pop out. So that's a big matchup. And then Luis Garcia came in, and on the first pitch he threw as a Red Sox, gave up an absolute freaking missile of a home run, but then got the next 3 guys out. I would tell you, Sims threw all sliders. I don't know that I would call him Adam Ottavino, but I think it's going to be that kind of guy. And Garcia, to me, is a lot like Hansel Robles. That's what he felt like. Just my take on those guys and what to expect from them. But the fact that Cora put them in the late innings with a lead, at the time the game was 8-4, is not entirely insignificant. I mean, when, managers typically have relievers that they will use when they're winning and relievers that they will use when they're losing, and both of those guys get the ball when they were winning. So I would expect to see more of those too. Will in Shrewsbury now. Will, what do you got?
Hey, Mazz, I have a question. Do you feel more confident about the direction the Red Sox are going in now after this trade deadline? And then also, what's your thoughts on Casas? I don't know about you, but I would have traded him for Guerrero.
Okay, so
I don't think
let's put Casas on the back burner for now. Your first question was whether I felt more confident about the direction of the franchise based on the trade deadline?
Yeah.
No. Do you?
Not necessarily, because I don't know what they're going to do with all the left hitting coming up in the system.
Okay, again, those are sort of 2 different questions. So, did the deadline do anything to change my opinion of them over the longer term? The answer is no. I mean, I guess you could talk about the kid they picked up from Pittsburgh. Jimmy, what's his name again?
Quinn Prater?
Priester, right?
Prater, whatever. He won't be on the big league club.
Okay, so Quinn Priester, to me, does not feel like a can't miss. That felt like one failed prospect for another. They gave up a positional prospect who didn't wow them in Nick York for a positional prospect who is a pitcher with Pittsburgh that didn't wow the Pirates. So that's not the kind of thing that changes the fate of your franchise. They picked up a couple of relievers to help this year, but the future of the franchise, no. Nothing that happened in there changes my opinion on the future of the franchise. Now, you then mentioned Casas and talk about all the left-handed hitters in the system. So, are they skewed left-handed? Yes. Could they use a right-handed bat? Yes. Would the Blue Jays have taken Casas for Guerrero? Interesting question. Jimmy, would you do that trade if you're Toronto?
No.
So a year from now, the Jays may do it because I think Guerrero is going to be coming to the end of his contract at the end of 2025, and then he'll be a free agent. So if he hits the market, if I were the Red Sox, would I go after him? Yes. Will they? Do I have confidence that they'll pay him? No. Especially because I'm sure they'll look at Guerrero and say, what kind of shape is he going to be in 5 years? So I don't know that it's going that way. Depending on what the price is, could they be in on it? Maybe, because I think there's a chance that his price tag is going to be a little lower because he's a DH in the making, and frankly, he's really only had one great year. Although next year's a contract year, so watch out for that one. But yeah, look, they need right-handed bats in the system. No question. They need pitching and they need right-handed bats. So you can absolutely put those on your list. 617-779-0985 is the number here on the Baseball Hour. There was a play in last night's game that should have opened your eyes and removed all doubt about the composition of the baseball now in the major leagues. We'll tell you what that was when we come back.
strikes it well. Left center field. Isbell's back, and it's gone! Romy goes deep and blows this one open. Partner, that's a bomb. Did you see where that ended up? Coming off the bench with some thunder. 452 feet from Romy Gonzalez. What?
I agree with Will Middlebrooks. What? 452 feet, Romy Gonzalez? Who? Did you see this? This was in the 7th inning last night. It made the game 8-2, I think it was, at that time. It was a freaking missile. Romy Gonzalez, 452 feet in Kansas City. 452 feet. Jimmy Stewart, quick. Romy Gonzalez has how many career home runs?
3?
He has 3 this season with the Red Sox. Very good. He's 27 years old, but he has 8 career home runs. 3 this season. I'll give you half credit, Jimmy.
Thank you.
Not bad. I would have never even guessed that. 8 home runs this guy has. He had 2 with the White Sox in 22, 3 with the Red Sox in 23. He has never slugged over 376 in the big leagues. This year, he's slugging 453. And he has a career high in at-bats. Now, could some of that be matchup related? The productivity I'm talking about now, the slugging? Sure. There might also be something else going on, which I don't want to completely rule out, but I'm not going to make any accusations.
Is this the steroid era of the Pittsburgh Steelers, as Jim Murray referenced all throughout Falcor and Mazz today?
I didn't say that. You did. But this year, the home run in and of itself is not what surprises me and not what raises my eyebrows. What raises my eyebrows is the 452 feet. Have you noticed the distances of these home runs in the last, let's call it month and a half?
Yes, because you've pointed it out to me.
Have you seen the distances of these things? They have been freaking bombs. Did you see the one that William Abreu hit in Texas the other day?
I did.
25 rows up in the stands or whatever it was? Not to mention opposite field. The ball is freaking jumping like a Titleist Pro V1.
The one Ohtani hit off the Red Sox that still hasn't landed in Dodger Stadium.
They are rockets. And I can live, Jimmy, with Ohtani hitting long home runs or Vladimir Guerrero and Rafael Devers hitting long home runs. Those guys are special talents with great hand-eye and the ability to square the ball up. Rafael Devers can do it on pitches out of the strike zone. I've seen it. His first career home run in Seattle was hitting the bullpens, I think, in left center field. It was a bomb. Devers has real power. Guerrero has real power. Ohtani has real power. Romy Gonzalez
has real power in Kansas City.
452 feet?
Yeah, pretty good.
The ball is jacked. The ball is so freaking high on life, it isn't even funny.
Good.
Wow. Go look at that thing last night. Romy Gonzalez, 452 feet. That was a freaking rocket. Anyway, ball's jacked. Maybe this is why the Red Sox are scoring so many runs of late. Hey, that occurred to anybody? Maybe why they're giving up so many, too?
Good.
Anyway.
The game needs more movement. It needs more excitement. Good.
Joe Murray's got you for
Swing the bat.
Joe Murray's got you for the balance of the night. Majori, you got headlines tonight?
Yes.
Kevin Majori's got headlines. We'll catch you tomorrow.